Today is the 9th of November, and in our business, November is our harvest time. Farmers harvest their wheat and other crops and barley in maybe end of August, September, but our harvest is in November. So I'm standing under this large maple tree. This tree, by the way, was imported from Kyushu in southern Japan in 1990. And it was only like 1 inch thick. Now it's about 20 foot high or 25 foot high with a massive multi-trunk. And look at it, it's got these small seeds. And not only that, I haven't had time to collect them. If you look around here, all the millions of seeds are all scattered on the floor. So I'm going to sweep them up and I'm going to collect them. So this is how the seeds fall. If you don't collect it, they may germinate in the cracks of the paving. I'll just show you. See that tree falls in here, and look at that tree. This is only 2 years old, maple seedling that's grown in between my pot of grasses. So they grow very easily. Not only that, nature has its own way of propagating, and these are little oak seedlings that fall in the cracks of the paving and they germinate. So propagating from seed is quite a viable way of producing bonsai and producing plants. It always amazes me how in nature plants, not just animals, but plants also know how to regenerate and propagate themselves. So we can help it along by doing it so that we know exactly what we're growing, what we're collecting. So let me show you what we actually do on the nursery. Because we grow most of our own plants, we do propagate from seeds that we collect ourselves. So let me show you some of the things that are very viable. And you look at this batch of crab apples. Look at the lovely fruit there. So rather than let the birds take them all, some of them fall down. But these lovely fruit are all viable for seed. So I'm going to show you what I'll do with them. And these lovely fruit here, this, in case you don't know, this is the Japanese quince, or what they call chojubai. Look at it. This is a late flowering thing, but it normally flowers in February, March. And of course, they produce these lovely fruit, lovely fruit. Looks almost like a small pumpkin. So we collect these and we will show you what we do with it. The Japanese, by the way, make a tea out of it because it's supposed to be good for coughs. So we collect some of these fruit and I'll show you how we propagate from them. I know that many of these programs I've done before in the past, but repetition doesn't hurt. We learn a lot from repeating year after year what we do. While I'm here, I've noticed that these lovely seed pods, they are wisteria seeds. I normally wait till the spring, but you can still collect it. I don't think they're quite ripe yet, but wisteria seeds are very easy to sow. I will now walk along here to show you the results of last year's seeds. So if we come along, we sow a lot of what we call starter plants, and let's come this way. These are all seedlings. There's dawn redwood, Scots pine seedlings, maple seedlings. These are all grown from seed, all from seed. And let me show you the wisteria seedlings. They are one of the easiest things to sow. These were only sown in February or March of this year, and already 1 year old, it's about 5-6 inches tall. And if I put it in a bigger pot, they become bigger trees. So with wisteria, I get 100% success. That means for every 100 seeds I sow, I will get 100 plants. It is that easy to germinate. Let me show you some other plants which you may not have tried, but they're very easy. And we're talking of the crab apples. Let me show you the results of crab apple seedlings. Now this is a tray of crab apple seedlings. They were sown last November, December, and look at it. They're more than a foot tall. I haven't had time to separate them to pot them up. I should be potting them up, but they will still be okay for next year. I can still do it if I protect it. So we've got trays and trays of these seeds. Also going to try and find, I propagated the Oh yes, another rare plant. Yes, we.
61st, 24.
This was sown in January this year, and this, in case you don't know, is the Chinese quince, Cydonia sinensis. Look at it. So again, I haven't had time to separate, but I will separate it in the spring of next year. Very hardy. So they will make a lovely plant, and they always produce true to seed. While we are passing here, you see some of these cones. These are all sorts of rare pines, and they all have seeds in them. But you got to catch it at the right time. If you don't catch it at the right time, they will fall by the wayside. So there are seeds in here which are viable. And we've also got a white beech. I will take you to the white beech tree because we've got seeds from the white beech as well. So let's take you there. So this is a lovely Japanese white beech, Fagus crenata. So look at the beautiful color of the autumn leaves, lovely yellow color, and they're quite different from the English beech because the leaves are more pointy, more pointed. If you look at the English beech, this is English beech. It's quite different from the English beech. So I'll show you the seeds. If we come here, walk through the undergrowth, this is how we collect these seeds. We put a big plastic sheet underneath, and as the seeds open and fall, these are the seed pods. The seed pods have opened, and here on the ground are all the seeds. These are the seeds. So we're going to collect these seeds. These are the seeds that are here. So you got to catch them at the right time, and this is what we sow. There you go. That's what they look like. They're triangular in shape. So there are hundreds and hundreds of seeds here. So this is Japanese white beech. Lots of seeds. If you shake the tree, the seeds will fall. Look at seeds falling. There you go. So we have fun. All right. Okay, we go back in. While I'm passing by, I noticed that this is a rare cotoneaster, and these seeds, this is what we do. Rather than let the birds have them all, we can literally pluck them from the tree. This one is not so prolific as the horizontalis. The horizontalis with the small leaves, they are very prolific. You get scores of seeds. But even these, cotoneaster can propagate from cuttings very easily, but they are easier from seed. I usually go around collecting every seed that I can find. Anyway, that is enough. So that is what we've collected. So let's show you what we'll do with these. Okay. So while we are passing, I thought I'd show you these. These are large cones. They're much smaller than the pine cones. How pretty they are. So Josh was reminding me about these cones. You got to wait till they dry. And when they dry, they then open out and the seeds fall out. So you can't sow these straight away. But we will collect these as well. So we've got several seeds here. We've got cotoneaster. We've got these lovely dissectum maple seeds. We've got the Japanese quince. We've got crab apples, and I just brought these in because this was a bonsai crab apple I grew in the ground, and it's become a 20-foot tree. And it's got thousands and thousands of fruit on that. And this is what we collect from there. So these fruit we will just pull off the tree, and I will show you what we do with this. So these seeds in here, the cotoneaster, in each fruit there are about maybe 2 or 3 seeds. But you don't have to cut open the fruit. What I do, these ones I just put straight into the compost. Also the maple seeds, I don't have to do anything. I will just take those seeds. These big fruit, because the pulp is so dense and large, we've got to cut it open. So I try not to cut some of the seeds, but inevitably you will ruin 1 or 2 seeds. But you see inside, this is what we are after. In fact, let me taste this. It's quite nice to taste, a bit sharp. But as I told you, in Japan, they use it to infuse with hot water and make it into a tea. So that is the seed we get from these fruit. Japanese quince. So from one fruit, you could probably get about a dozen seeds. So these are the seeds we get out. That's it. Let's see some of these round ones. I don't bother about naming them because they're all different varieties. Some are deep red, some are pink, some are white. It's a lovely surprise when they grow bigger and then they produce the flowers. By the way, these trees, when they're sown from seed like our crab apples, in 3 years you'll get a flowering plant. It doesn't take long for them to flower. The only exception is the wisteria. Then that is a good sign. You see, these seeds are brown, so they are more ripe. So this is what we get out. See, look at the large number of seeds we get from each of this. So this is what I do of a winter's evening or the autumn evenings. I go around cutting the fruit open. I cook some of these because they do make a jam or a jelly. So you can see from one fruit I've already got at least 30 or 40 seeds. Look at that. See, the birds have started pecking at it. Lots of seeds. Okay, I won't go too mad on this. I'll just show you as an example. And then the crab apple, so that's quince. Crab apple, again. These you can certainly eat. These are quite sweet. Oh, how come this got no seeds in it? Oh, okay. So you see there's just a few seeds in each. So different fruit are different, isn't it? So this one I'll probably only get like 5 or 6 seeds.
Smells amazing.
It's just like a raw eating apple. So that from one fruit, that one's only given me 3 seeds so far. That's disappointing. Just 3 seeds from that. Let's see this one. Some people just put the fruit into the soil. See, look at that. The fruit will rot. You can also do that. You don't always have to cut it open. But cutting open, I do check how many seeds there are. So this one's got quite a few seeds. You see? You know that there's few seeds. But as I say, you can put the whole fruit in. Now, with steer seeds, this isn't quite ripe. I usually wait for these to turn brown. And this usually happens in January or February. So I should probably have waited for this to get ripe. It's not quite ripe. Usually if the seeds are not dark color, then it's a sign that the seeds have yet got a few more weeks or months to mature. See, this seed is not completely brown, so that may not be a viable seed. You see, the pod is still green. You got to wait for the pod to get brown to be absolutely sure that the seeds are ripe. So I took this off the tree too soon. You see, these probably are not ripe seeds. But anyway, I may try just as an experiment. Now, let's go and mix some compost. And I will show you what we do with these seeds. Okay, so if you follow me, I've seen different people use different types of compost. Now, this is our standard bonsai compost, which has got a lot of akadama, pumice, and all sorts of volcanic grit in there. But I don't think you need to waste money on bonsai compost. This is too precious to waste. I just use ordinary garden compost, fine garden compost. There is seed sowing compost, but as long as you use a fine compost, it doesn't matter. You don't have to use seed sowing compost. Why do you think I've got my egg box here? As you know, I'm a very thrifty person. And for years and years when I was an amateur, I used to sow seeds in egg boxes. Because it's made of paper, when the seeds germinate, I just plant the thing, paper and all, and the seeds come up in there. So that's one way of saving money. And you can get your seeds germinating in an egg box. Now, you can use a small bonsai pot as well. Then you can use these seed trays. This is a large seed tray, and this is an even larger seed tray. So these are the different sorts of trays you can use. But let's show you what we will do with just this. So all we do is, if you want it to be pedantic and not wasteful, we will put like literally one seed in each of these compartments. Mind you, each fruit has about 2, maybe 3 seeds in it. So they'll come up multiple, but no matter. But if you wanted to put just a few, it doesn't matter either. And then just cover it with a light film of soil, not too deep, maybe about ½ inch, or what we call, what is ½ inch? 5 centimeter. And then you can sow some seeds on this side. And I will do just that. So that's Cotoneaster. I'm not too bothered about naming it. You should really name it. But I like to just sow it, and surprise, surprise, you know, when they germinate, I can recognize the leaf. So just scatter them in here. They'll come up bunched together. It doesn't matter. And then just put the compost on top of it. So this is the cheap way of using old egg boxes, a dozen eggs, and then I've got so many plants coming out from there. So I keep it in the greenhouse. Sometimes I leave it outside for the weather to stratify it. And same thing with the maples. You see, shaking all the leaves, all these lovely seeds underneath here. Again, I will just put a bunch of seeds there. That's more than enough. You can be pedantic and just sow them spaced out, but they can all come up bunched together, and then I will put some soil on top of it. The thing to do is to sow them straight away. The trick is to sow them straight away. Many people store the seeds till the spring. There's no need to do that. Some people store it to the next year. The trick with sowing seeds is that the seeds got to be viable and fresh. If they are stored, they become less viable. The longer you store it, the viability of the seeds go down. So sow it straight away. And the other thing is, we let nature do its trick. You may have heard of the term stratification. Stratification is simply the term for the alternate freezing and thawing of the soil. In winter, when it goes below zero, the soil freezes. So it freezes solid, and then when the temperature rises above 0 degrees, it thaws. So the alternate freezing and thawing wakes the tree up from its dormancy or slumber. It goes to sleep, but alternate thawing and freezing will wake it from its sleep, and you will get the germination. Why do people recommend you put the seeds in a freezer or a fridge? That is to produce the dormancy by stratification, alternate thawing and freezing. But you don't have to use a fridge or freezer. Just put it outside, and if you get the frost, that is what you do. If you live in a place where you don't get a lot of frost, yes, by all means use the freezer to freeze it and thaw it. But if you live in a country like England where we get frost, there's no need to do it. So we will follow the progress of this, and when they come up, we will show you what to do. So of a winter's evening or autumn evening, you can go and collect the seeds and sow them this way, and hopefully you'll get hundreds, if not thousands, of seedlings coming up. So I hope you enjoyed this again.